Hey everybody, back again today in a different type of video. This morning I woke up and was checking my emails and traffic and stuff like that. And on Facebook I saw that one of my friends from high school don't hang out. I don't know if he's even a friend anymore, an acquaintance. I mean, that's what Facebook is good for, right? It's not you don't have a lot of friends. You just have people that you kind of know, right? Anyway, an old friend of mine, I guess current acquaintance, but I posted that he was going through divorce right now. And this is kind of him publicly letting people in on what's going on in his life, and just reading what he was saying and going through. And it just brought up a lot of flashbacks and feelings back to when I was in that situation a few years back myself. So, yeah, I am divorced. I think I mentioned that in the channel, maybe some of the earlier videos. That's why I'm a single parent with my daughter, right? I mean, obviously, single parent, right? Something had to happen. But just, again, reading what he was going through, and I could just see the thoughts in his head, and it kind of hit home a little bit, right? Having been and gone through that so much. And divorce sucks, especially. It sounded like maybe our situations were a little similar. Although mine, I'm not going to go into details. It's not your business. It's no one's business. But I'll tell you that everyone's different. My divorce story is movie material. Oh, man. But I don't talk about that because, like I said, it's none of your business. But just like, again, as a man going through a divorce, and when it happened to me, it's not something that I wanted. I was kind of taken aback when it began. I could tell my friend was a little bit as well. From the sound of it, he kind of got thrown and kicked out of the house, and he's just been kind of on the mend the last month, trying to get things straight, and was telling everybody now officially on Facebook what's going on. But it's rough, and I guess that's why I'm making the video. I guess for any guys out there going through the same thing, currently or have done it already before. It's rough. It's hard. It's not easy to go through that. It's hard to talk about. I don't want to get too personal, but the thing I told my friend, because again, he's still a friend of mine, just jumped on there, sent him a little message, never replied, which is fine, doesn't have to. Again, we haven't talked in years, but just basically, hey, to anyone watching right now going through the same thing, right? Man, woman, doesn't matter. Even kids, if your parents are going through divorce, okay? Which my parents separated at a young age too. The thing you have to remember, life goes on, right? Things suck. Things suck in your life right now. Nothing makes sense. You feel betrayed. Up is down and down is up. And this person that you have committed yourself to and built a life around and had kids with and raised these kids with, all that stuff, okay, gone. It is gone. And you have to look forward. It won't be like this every day. Life does get better. It will change, no doubt. Your life will be different than it is now, okay? Obviously. But things will get better, right? And it does take time, and you can't fast forward it, but you just have to remember that, a year from now, you're going to be in a better spot than you are, right? 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you will get through this. Life does not stop. It may seem like it does right now when you're in the moment, right? But things will get better. You will figure this out. You will land on your feet somehow, some way, and life will get better. You just got to get through this miserable point in your life right now, right? And it took me a long time to realize that, because when I was going through my separation, and it sounds like my friend going through his is, you're looking for answers. You're trying to make sense of what's happening, right? And that was very much me. I was very much reacting to the situations that I don't want to say she had put me in, just the situations our relationship had come to. The situations she put me into. And I remember going to great lengths, definitely more than I would do now. But I remember at the time, I don't know, it hurts to say, but like bending over backwards to try and salvage that marriage and that relationship, and to try and make things work, when all I was doing is kind of prolonging the pain and prolonging the time to when I'll get to a better place, right? We actually tried to make things work for maybe like a year afterwards, but that was totally wasted time. People don't change unless they want to, right? And that took me a long time to realize. People were probably telling me at the time, but you're stubborn, you're set in your ways. So you get lots of advice during this time if you seek it out, or people want to give it to you. But listening is really like you want to listen. It's helpful just to talk to somebody and share what you go. That is very Carthagenic. Is that the right word? I can't talk. And helpful. But how often did I actually listen to their advice and take it to heart? Obviously not, because I was still hanging on, trying to make things happen when people were telling me, who had been through this, you need to move on and get going, right? But I mean, we went to therapy, try to move back in and make it work. And I put up with a lot of things I never should have. And made excuses, right? That's when you're in trouble. If you are making excuses for certain behaviors or your behaviors and trying to justify what you're doing, I totally understand why people do that, but you have to realize it's not a healthy thing to do, right? You're making excuses, basically. You're doing something you probably shouldn't, but mentally, the mental gymnastics you're going through to try and make it feasible or palatable doesn't work out, right? And my big thing is that the kids, right? I had 2-step kids who I practically raised those kids, right? Their dad's pieces of shit. And those kids, I was there from an early age. I was their dad. I raised them. I was with them so much. And to lose, to not have those kids around anymore. And my own daughter, who was at a very young age at the time, I took a lot of arrows. I bent over. I put myself through a lot for the greater good of trying to fight for those kids, right? That's the mentality that I was in. I'll sacrifice my happiness for now, right? I'll put up with more than I should right now. I will be patient, more patient than I should. I will just do whatever it took. I'll be the sacrificial lamb. I'll be the suicidal pilot, the kamikaze, whatever it is. I'll be that person, right? I'll do whatever it takes for those kids. Trying to do the right thing in your mind, to try and put those kids first and fight for those kids when it seems like nobody else will. But that was, like I said, just prolonging the inevitable and probably caused a little bit more pain than it should have. But at the time, like I said, I was justifying. And that's how I was making sense of everything, right? I'm going to get through this, right? I'm going to beat the odds. I'm the hero. I'm going to save the day. I'm going to pull everything together when my life seems to be falling apart, right? And even if people don't know it, or even if they don't want to come along, I'm going to hold on both hands tight and not, that's that mentality that I had, fully aware, totally knew it's going to blow up my face and it's probably not going to work out and that this was a waste of time. But again, mentally justifying, I didn't want to tell my daughter in 5 years, in 10 years, whenever, looking back, that I didn't try and do everything I could to save that marriage and the life that she had at that time. I didn't want to say that I didn't try, right? And so I did. I tried way more than I should have. But what I ended up learning in the fallacy is that it was a lost cause from the start, right? Again, and I'm not saying that I was, I made tons of mistakes in that marriage. I'm not saying I'm blameless or nothing. She made more than me, make no doubt. But still, what's broken can't be put back together, right? And the healthy thing, the best thing would be to have moved on, cut ties with that woman, get a life going for me and my daughter right away instead of try and postpone and put it on hold and just kind of move on with my life. But it's hard because when you're in the middle of all that, you can't see clearly through that maze. And it does feel like a maze, right? And so anyway, I'm totally rambling right now, which I do. If you watch my videos, you know I like to ramble. But again, it's tough and it's hard, but it does get better. You just gotta, the quicker you can move on and put things away, it's never going to be the same that it was. If she's leaving you, you can't make her want to come back. If you're leaving her, you have your reason. I mean, it's just, divorces, there's always a winner and a loser. Does that make sense, right? If both sides really feel horrible about the split, then, maybe that's when you do more therapy, or maybe there's some commonality there, right? But usually one person is happy to be gone, and you can't change that person's mind, right? They're leaving for their own reasons, and one person often feels left behind, right? And again, there's nothing you can do to make that person want to come back. And I was the one left behind, but I didn't realize is I should have been the one who was ready to leave. Right, it should have been flipped. So anyway, again, if you're going through that situation right now, like I said, it's tough, it's hard, it's a shit sandwich. Take a big bite, get it over with, and start living your new life right now. If you got kids, of course, it makes it difficult. Always put those kids first, but that doesn't mean that you sacrifice yourself. That doesn't mean you put your happiness aside. That doesn't mean that you hurt yourself for those kids, right? You need to take care of yourself first, and kids are pretty resilient, right? I mean, child divorce and being a teacher, a lot of my students and kids have gone through that as well. They'll be fine. They actually will, okay? It's a change. They'll get used to it, but you got to put yourself in the right mental position, and the sooner you can just cut ties, drop those bags, and move on, because ultimately that's what you're going to have to do anyways, right? The sooner you do that, the better you are. And it took me a long time to realize that. Just drop those, move on, throw them away, burn them, whatever it is, and move on. So, yeah. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm rambling. What do you want? I got stuff to do. I know you do too. And that's a different video for today. But I got to go. So I'll catch you later.